Hello everyone, it's Josh Vision, and I'm here to give you my Animal Kingdom Season 1, Episode 2 review. The episode was entitled That We Don't Hurt People. So basically, this episode was basically the fallout from the previous, job that was done in the previous episode with Craig getting shot, during the whole failed jewelry, theft attempt by Baz, Craig, and Darren. So we begin this episode with the boys, drinking over at the pool. It's a really violent game of pool basketball. I believe at one point Pope and Babs were kind of like kneeing the crap out of Jay while he was underwater, while he was trying to protect the ball. At some point, I believe Babs actually elbowed the hell, out of Pope before he could get the ball into the basketball hoop. Besides that, we have this interesting conversation between Smurf and Nikki. Now, from what I've seen, at least from the first episode, I can sort of tell that Smurf is a very intelligent and manipulative person, and she tends to do things, with reason. There's no randomness to her actions. There's always a calculated, set piece, if you know what I'm saying. So she was asking Nikki, who would she prefer, if she was alone on an island with, besides, Jay. And she said Baz. I'm wondering, okay, why is she trying to steer the pot? Is she trying to make some type of competition or animosity between Jay and one of the boys, whatever? Besides that, we meet Craig's girlfriend, apparently, or at least his drug dealer. I think her name is Ren, and she's dope. She's really hot. She's tatted everywhere, and she was riding him like a bull. Like, seriously. I believe at one point, though, due to the fact that Craig still has that really bad, gun wound that seems to be festering. She said it stunk, first off, and that he should actually go to the hospital. But Craig was saying he can't go to the hospital due to the whole crime job and all that crap. I believe he asks her for more drugs. She's like, dude, I gave you so much cocaine, it could kill you 2 times over. He's like, I'm a big guy, I need more drugs. After that, we have this scene with Baz and his wife, and Baz's wife is pissed at Baz because he hasn't been answering his phone calls, and the fact that she's pissed at him because she believes that Baz and the boys killed the cop that that's on the news apparently now, even though it was kind of the cop's fault because he was the one that kind of grabbed the car while it was going on this little way, but whatever. So she's mad. Baz saying, listen, let's not start this pointless argument, whatever, She told Baz that she needed to leave Lena with her so she could go do her shift. Baz says he can't really do anything because he has to go meet up with Smurf and the boys and discuss what happened, the fallout. So that pisses off Kathy even more. I believe during this, before the whole meeting happens, Jay speaks with Smurf. And Smurf tells Jay, listen, something bad happened yesterday, but I want you to know that we don't kill people, and that in this family we're always open with each other, and that we never lie to each other, especially me. And Jay got the message. And then she tells Jay to go get Darren. So while Jay goes over to get Darren, he sees Darren getting his male genitalia sucked off by this dude in the bathroom. And Darren is shocked that Jay caught him. You know what I mean? So instead of trying to explain what was happening, he proceeded to beat the shit out of that dude who sucked him off. And I think Jay just kind of participated in it a little bit just because of Darren telling him what to do, whatever. So after that, Jay tells Darren that he's not going to tell anyone about what he saw, and Darren seems to be cool about it. And then he tells Jay to jump into his car. Jay's like, nah, I got my bike. So I think Darren's kind of off about that. Then Darren kind of did this little chase with Jay, kind of in a really dickish move. And at one point, I believe he almost hit Jay at the car and stopped at the last possible minute. And Jay fell off his bike, leaving him some really bad bruises on his hand. And Darren lit a cigarette. I was like, you know what? I'll see you. I'll see you at the house, man. And Jay lit at him like asshole, So we get to the meeting, and basically Smurf tells the boys basically they have to destroy the watches because with the whole cop's death happening. And Craig's like, those watches are each worth $100,000. And Smurf's like, it doesn't matter. There's not, you guys killed the cop. It'll like the watches will lead them to us and vice versa and all that crap. So, I think around this time, I believe Baz mentioned the fact that they didn't wear ski masks when they got the tweakers, the druggies they got from the previous episode, the ones, they basically put in the fucking car, so, their piss would be DNA, so that way it wouldn't, the cops, when they find DNA in the car, it'll be linked to, like, the druggies, not them. But they didn't wear a ski mask like Smurf had originally told them to do. And as well as the fact that the car in which, got shot at by the cops, and which Craig got shot in, obviously, still had Craig's blood, but that wasn't at Kilmer's. It's over at one of the random, I believe, like, car wreckage places, whatever. So Smurf's pissed off about that. So she basically commands Darren and Craig to basically just destroy the car and set that motherfucker lit, and all that crap. And Darren's kind of annoyed. He's like saying, why are we doing all the grunt work here? This is a bunch of BS. Why is Jay getting off? Jay's a part of the family. Why don't he join us? So Smurf said, okay, Jay, join them after school. So the next thing we have, basically Darren and Craig, they're doing what they have to do with the car, whatever. And Darren was complaining, saying how Smurf think they're idiots, how Smurf always seems to trust Baz and Pope, And now with Jay being around, being all sciencey and mathy and like writing wise, that she may think he's a genius and have him ahead of him. You know what I mean? So he's just really complaining and bitching. It seems like that's all he does, for the past 2 episodes or so. And while this is happening, Craig's kind of agreeing half-heartedly because at this point, Craig is really feeling the gunshot wound. He's going in and out, and all that. So I believe at one point Darren's like, man, you gotta really go to the south, like to Mexico, to get the thing fixed up. And Craig's like, and what? Is Smurf gonna complain about me like not helping out enough, and taking my cut? He's like, nah, screw that. I'd rather stay here a little bit longer so I get my cut of the money. So Jay eventually shows up, and they all like set the mother on fire, burn all evidence. Besides that, when it comes to Pope, I believe after the meeting, Jay tells Baz what happened with him, Pope, and the guy, in which Pope beat the shit out of the guy who's about to kill Jay. And Baz asks Jay, did Pope know he'd tell him whatever? And he was like, nah, he didn't. You feel me? So he was like, okay, cool. So when Baz told that to Pope, Pope was kind of pissed, called him a little shit. And Baz said the kid was right to tell me because that could have been a loose end. And and Pope's like, listen, there's no loose end, bro. I scared the crap out of that dude. He's not going to do anything to Jay or us. You mean? So after that, Baz spoke to Smurf, and Smurf was saying to Baz, that Pope actually tried to corner Craig about where you guys actually picked up, the tweakers, the druggies. And Baz asked her, well, did Craig tell him? And she was like, no, Craig's not that dumb. So after that whole thing, I believe they mentioned something about Pope's meds and how he hasn't been sleeping. So Smurf does some crap in which she's able to get his meds from like a former shrink. And I believe the shrink is like, I believe one of Pope's former shrinks that he actually almost stabbed when he was like a teenager or something. But whatever. But she was able to get the pills, whatever. And she was able to kind of crunch it into the meal that she served him. So that way it could stop him from staying up all night and doing all the weird crap that he's clearly been doing for the past, 2 episodes so far. So besides that, I think that's all that really happened in this episode, you guys. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that's all I got, you guys. Josh Vision, adios.